For Unit 1. I'm going to work some examples out of problems that are going to be very, very similar to the problems that you're going to see on the test. So it would make sense for... One second. Sorry. Who's calling me now? Hello? Yes, Mr. President. Yes, sir. No, sir. No, I am not leaking out security secrets and such. I'm just giving some suggestions and hints on what the students need to practice before they take their test. Yes, sir. I know there's been some problems. No worries here, though. Okay, but I'm kind of busy, so I'm going to have to just call you back later, okay? Thanks so very much. Bye-bye now. All right, sorry about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to work some problems that are very similar to the problems that you're going to see on your first unit test. Problem number 1 here. In no particular order. Problem number 1, evaluate n minus 17 when n is 51. Now this we had actually way back at the beginning of the unit. I'm going to substitute 51 in here. I get 51 minus 17. And I do a little bit of arithmetic, and if I'm not mistaken, it's 34. That was an easy one. You got to hope there's lots of problems like that. Second one, translate. That means change the words into symbols. The sum of a number and 20 into symbols. Well, here's your key word right there, sum. Sum means add. A number, we're going to use a variable. You can use an x or a y, I'm going to use an n. The sum of a number and 20 means n plus 20. Problem number 3, write with an exponent. As you can see, I have repeated multiplication. 5, 5, 5, 5. 4 factors of 5. This is 5 to the 4th power. That was easy. Here we're going to evaluate an exponential expression. I'm going to substitute the 4 right in there. That's 4 to the 3rd, which means 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Oh, no, it doesn't. One too many. I like those 4s. 4 times 4 times 4, and that's 64. What is the value of this expression? Now, this is where your order of operations comes into play. Now, there are no parentheses, there are no exponents, but I'm certainly going to divide before I do any adding. So this is 15 plus, 15 divided by 5 is 3 plus 7. And now I can add, because they're both addition signs here, I can add from left to right. 15 and 3 is 18, 18 and 7 is 25. Evaluate the expression 6x plus y. Remember, 6x means 6 times x, when x is 3 and y is 5. So I'm substituting this in for the x, and I'm substituting this in for the y, and I get 6 times 3 plus 5. I'll multiply first. This is 18 plus 5. This is 23. Not so bad. List in order from least to greatest. Now, if it'll help you, draw your number line out. -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 3, we have -2, we have 4, and we have -5. So you can see them in order from left to right, from least to greatest, would be -5, -2, +3, and 4. All right, number 8 says, which is equal to 5? Now this is the opposite of 5, or -5, so that's clearly not it. This is the absolute value of -5, which is how far -5 is from 0 on the number line. That's our guide, because it's 5 units away. It's to the left of 0, but it's still 5 units away. This is our answer. Just to double check though, this is the opposite of the absolute value of -5. Now we know that this part right here is 5, so that would be the opposite of 5, or -5, and that's not our guy either. So it's got to be this guy right here in the middle. Add -7 and -9. Now when you add two numbers that have the same sign, remember you add their absolute values, keep the sign. The absolute values of these two numbers would be 7 and 9, that's 16. I keep the sign, my answer is -16. Evaluate 5 plus y. Well, I'm going to substitute in for y equals -9 right into there. I have 5 plus -9, a +5 and a -9. You add them together, one of each. So you subtract their absolute values, take the sign of the one with the larger absolute value. 9 minus 5 is 4. I have more negative than positive. Again, think of it like money. I have a -4. Find the difference. Well, here's where I'm going to add the opposite, because this is a non-traditional subtraction problem. This is -8 plus a -3. Keep change opposite. Now, just like the problem up here, I'm adding two negatives, so I add them as if I'm adding them as positives. Their absolute value, that'd be 11. Keep the sign. My answer is negative 11. Find the change in temperature from 5 degrees Celsius to negative 3 degrees Celsius. Well, when you're finding the change, you're subtracting. So it's from 5 minus negative 3. Well, here again, it's a non-traditional subtraction. Change it to adding the opposite. This is 5 plus 3, or 8 degrees Celsius. Find the product. Product means multiply. I'm multiplying two numbers that have different signs. I know my answer is negative. 5 times 3 is 15, negative 15. Now this is a little bit like a multiple choice question. Which expression has a positive value? Well, if I multiply a negative and a positive together, that's negative. So it's not this. If I multiply three numbers together and they're all negative, I have an odd number of negative factors, that's going to be negative. It better be this one. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 factors. They're all negative. And if you have an even number of negative factors, this is your positive guy right here. And that would be your answer. Now, what are the coordinates of point A? It's not a very well drawn coordinate plane, but hopefully you can follow this along. Anything you see on the test will have a nice grid drawn for you. It'd be much easier to analyze. You start at the origin. To get to point A, I would go 3 to the left and then up 2. 3 to the left is negative 3, up 2 is a positive 2. Those are my coordinates. In which quadrant is the point negative 3, negative 1 located? Now I'm going to refer to here. Remember, this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, this is quadrant 3, this is quadrant 4. It goes counterclockwise. Negative 3, negative 1 would be 3 to the left, down 1. This is in quadrant 3. Number 17. Find the median of the data set. Now remember, the median is one of the measures of central tendency, and this is the one where you have to put it in order from least to greatest, or greatest to least, but I like least to greatest, so I'll put 2, then 5, then 7, then 8, and the last one is 10. Now, fortunately for me, there's an odd number of values in the data set, and the one in the middle, the median, remember, is the one in the middle. That's 7. That's my answer. If there was two numbers in the middle, if it was an even number of values, then we'd have to average them. Find the range of the set above. Well, the range, remember, is the greatest value minus the smallest value. And that's 8. That was easy. The temperature is negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit and rises 12 degrees. What's the temperature as an integer relative to 0? Well, what we're going to do since it rises is we're going to add. We're going to take negative 20 and we're going to add 12. One of each, subtract their absolute values, and be 8, and take the sign of the larger one there. So I'm going to have negative 8 degrees, and this is in Fahrenheit. And that's what they mean relative to 0. It means negative or positive. In this case, it would be negative. Now, if you watch these examples and you understood what was going on, that's a pretty good sign you're ready for the test. If any of these problems didn't make sense to you, I would suggest you go back and look through your notes. And if that's not doing it for you, find me, ask me some questions. I'll be happy to help you get started with this so that you'll be ready to take the Unit 1 test. Good luck now.